mouse pad and you just like tap on them and like do all this like swiping and stuff like that, and it just creates like a beat.
Yeah.
Like I don't even know what that is. Like it's just weird. I don't get it. And like my other thing is like I can appreciate it, but like for me, I don't know. Maybe this is other people's viewpoint on it, but I feel like as a musician who continues to study every single day and works really, really hard to get better at their instrument, to me it's like a fucking cop-out. Because, okay, I purchased this $1,000 synthesizer. I don't know anything about music. I'm just pressing fucking random buttons and getting a cool sound, but I have no idea what I'm actually doing. And so, like, for the musicians that are working really, really hard, that are trying to practice this and really get an understanding of what they're doing, you feel cheated.
And that's where I think I give a lot of respect to EDM artists who do take themselves like seriously in the sense where not even just like with what they're doing, trying to make it as musical as possible, but also if they're like, yeah, I'm not technically a musician, I'm more of just like an audio engineer kind of guy, or a beat maker. Like some guys just kind of refer to themselves as beat makers. And like I love that stuff, and I think it does have a place in music. I love its application. But yeah, I do agree that like some like beat makers or rappers get into their own head about them being like musicians.
Right.
You have to also try and give the respect to music. Anyone it's hard to like say these because I do still want to also give respect to the art of like rapping and like EDM and all that stuff, but it is coming at music at a very different angle than
for sure
your like traditional musicality. So
well, and you know the most frustrating thing about it is like I definitely agree that with the sentiment that, you know, it is a respected art form, and I get it, but it's like though that type of music always draws a bigger crowd too than the type of music that requires a lot more, I don't want to say overall skill and overarching understanding, but in a different capacity. Like people who are like, if you go to a symphony orchestra concert, those people dedicate their entire lives to learning that craft, you know, whether they're playing, you know, like Bach stuff or, you know, just orchestral type music. And like those types of shows will never sell out the crowds that type of like concert scene would bring out, which is like annoying, you know?
And I don't want to try and like insult people's intelligence when I say this, but a big reason why is because the appreciation for music, also a lot of it comes with the understanding of music.
Yeah, I agree.
And so an average listener, that's why top 40 is so popular. The formula is the way it is because it's easy to make, it's easy for people to understand and enjoy and be able to find things about that they like. Like, you know, you're talking about like groups like Chan or some of your classical artists, they're doing stuff that they're making it for other like guitarists or musicians to hear it, and so they're gonna be like, okay, I can respect like how hard what they're doing is. Like no offense, but like a teen girl who listens to Shawn Mendes isn't listening to Shawn Mendes because she's like, ooh, I like the way that he's hitting those chords and putting all those notes in there. They're like, oh, I just like the way that he sings and what he's singing about.
Yeah.
Like, no, that's why all drum tracks for like top 40 songs are basically the same. It's all just like that hi-hat and it's literally just keeping a beat.
I think that's like why like when you go into higher education and like specifically music, you're like really seeking out the higher level and aspect of music. It's not just like, I don't know. And I think like we kind of talked about this before, like as your brain continues to expand and your education about music starts to begin to become larger, you start to like things that you never once liked before, and you start to dislike things that you once liked before, and you're like, wow. Like, for example, you just talked about like the top 40 like pop music. Like before I was into music, like, you know, whatever, I don't even know, it was like 97.5, you know, radio, our local like top hit station. And so like I was like, oh man, this, you know, this shit is popping, this is it, like turn on 97.5. And then like my dad would always give me and my sister so much crap. He'd be like, I don't know why you guys like this stuff is terrible. And then like started getting into some more serious pursuits of it, and then I was like, yeah, he's kind of right. And I'm not saying that the music is bad, but like you find out that every single song is literally the same progression, the same idea, just a different chord or different key. And it's just like you get so tired of it because it's just like I could never be just like a pop artist and be like, oh, gotta put the capo on.
And like I do feel bad, like because I do feel kind of like rude when I bring up like the point of like, because it's also such like a hipster thing to say when you're like, oh, this song just sounds like the exact same other one.
Yeah.
But like when you do have like that high understanding of music and you're looking for the differences, you start to notice the similarities more.
Yeah.
So then you're like, okay, yeah, this song does kind of sound exactly like the other one. He's using the same strumming pattern.
Yeah.
He's using like the same like 3-chord progression, just with a different melody. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. I agree 100%. I don't know. That's just like, I think, again, like once you start to really get an understanding, your musical palette really changes. And I don't even know what's considered pop music nowadays. Like, I remember like pop music when I was like still listening to the radio and stuff was like, you know, Justin Timberlake was a really big pop artist. And like, I don't know. That was
Katy
like,
Perry.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She's really big too.
Yeah. I don't even know. It's like Selena Gomez, Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber.
I don't know if Justin Bieber's as popular anymore for like music.
Isn't he like rapping now?
I don't know what he's up to. He's doing some weird stuff. He's looking like a trucker. I know. That's like.
I saw he's got pink hair now.
Does he? I know he's got like the mustache, like just the mustache, like the gross trucker mustache. He was wearing that in like trucker caps and stuff.
What is his deal? I don't associate with Justin's like that.
All right. Anyway, welcome back to the MuseTube Podcast. Back at it with another one for you. This is episode 4. Wow,
rolling. Wow. Still alive. Staying alive.
Staying alive. I think for today we're just going to come at you with some news articles and stuff. So how you doing?
Doing pretty well. Doing pretty well on this Monday at 9 in the morning here.
Yeah, we had to record really early in the morning because I had work at 12. And any later wouldn't have worked. So here we are. If we sound a little void of life and, you know, unenergetic.
Oh, I'm feeling good, man.
Well, you're used to waking up at this time. I never wake up at this early. Are you kidding me? I'm exhausted. Anyway, let's start getting into some of our articles. What do you think?
Let's do it.
All right. Well, first off, what tea are we drinking today? For all the good folks.
Today we are drinking chamomile, not cannibal, chamomile. Sorry. No, but we're drinking chamomile tea. I'm sorry. This is a brand from a British company called Twinings, Twinings. They are one of the largest and oldest manufacturers of tea in the UK. Sir Paul McCartney and the rest of the Brits, this is their preferred tea, I'm pretty sure. I think I heard that in an interview once. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Anyway, this is the English brand, and this is their favorite tea, I guess. It's been around for like 300 some odd years or something like that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Like the type of tea or the specific company?
Shoot, I kind of ripped it up here. What does yours say?
Mine says...
This says 300.
Over 300 years of experience.
Oh, 300 years of experience. Okay. Yeah, they've been around for a long time. They're good.
That was 1706. Wow.
Just a little bit before we got our independence.
The knowledge behind this tea.
Wait, 1706?
Yeah, 1706.
Oh, what were we? We were
1776.
Okay. Yeah, so 70 years.
Wow. This predates our good, blessed country.
Damn, so we were getting taxed from this tea, probably.
Oh, snap, dude. You fucking Tory bastard.
Anyway.
Let's see. Our first article for you today. We're not going to get too much into the details. We just sort of wanted to state it because it's insane to me.
Right.
That Taylor Swift's Folklore album is the biggest album of 2020 so far. That part's not the surprise. What the surprising part is that it's her 7th number 1 on the Billboard 200 chart. Imagine 7 number 1. That does mean 7 number 1 albums, right? That's not just like...
God, I didn't even know she had that many albums.
7... What does she got? She's got 19.
I mean, they all
the last
sound the
one.
same.
Oh, see, no, I'm gonna offend Taylor a bit here because I'm actually gonna disagree with you. I don't think they all sound the same because when you get to her older stuff, it's a little more country inspired. She's still got a lot of acoustic sounds to her, and lately she has definitely ventured heavily more into like the pop sort of ring. But
yeah, she used to be a good girl, inspiring the young adolescents. Now she's kind of...
I feel like she still is, just from a different angle.
I don't know. I've seen some of the music videos, and they seem pretty... some of the newer music videos are a little scandalous.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, how old is she now? Is she like 30?
she looks good. I mean, I'll agree. I mean, I'm not saying anything's wrong, but I mean, like, for somebody who, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's like you're inspiring the young youth, and then, you know, you see, you know, hitting the bottle of Jack or something, you know, people are gonna be like, oh, I have to be like Taylor Swift, I have to do that, you know? I don't know, I'm just like, it's a slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because, like, when you start out as a younger artist like that, and the majority of your audience is younger, and they kind of grow up with you, you know?
Well, so, like, I've seen the Taylor Swift documentary on Netflix. Or was it on Netflix? Yeah. I didn't watch it, personally. Like, my roommate's fiance was playing it, and I was in the room. And, like, you know, it made me respect some parts about Taylor Swift. And, like, she talks about how, like, there's that pressure, you know, from being, like, a role model for girls from so young.
Right.
And, like, I feel like no one in that position, especially in music, ever asks to be, like, a role model.
Yeah, just kind of your audience.
Yeah.
You know, and you can't really ask for an audience. You can't say, okay, my audience needs to be between the ages of 17 and 20.
Yeah, you can do your best by, like, making the music that you want to make, and then maybe you can target, like, an audience, but it's still hard. You can't choose who's going to like it at the end of the day.
Right.
So, maybe that's her way of, like, trying to... Maybe she's just trying to dump the pressure off.
I can't believe that she's had that many albums. I mean, that's crazy to me. And she's still young.
I gotta look up. Is that her 7th?
Because Taylor Swift she's got to be only in her 30s, her early 30s. I mean, that's a lot. I mean, her career is young, too. I mean, holy crap, think about that.
She's got 8 studio albums.
Oh, 8, okay. Is that like...
Yeah, her 7th #1 album on the Billboard 200 chart, it says right here.
So she's had 7 out of 8 of her albums be successful, basically.
7 out of 8 have hit #1. Wow. That kind of success, dude. That's like...
But, I mean, is it... Okay, like, I'm going to make a bold...
Something about being top 40?
Yeah.
Like, maybe she's, like...
Is it just...
She's pushed to be...
Right. So it's not, like, over... It could... Because, I mean, there's a difference between, like... This means, like, top 40, so not necessarily, best, like, top 8 albums of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, because, like, if we're talking sales, then that would be a milestone.
Well, yeah.
You know? Because, I mean, obviously, like, we can't compare it to the Beatles, but if you're thinking about, like, the Beatles with all-time overall sales, and then I think the most all-time sold album, which I'm pretty sure is correct, and you can fact-check me if I'm wrong.
All right, I'm ready. I'm ready to fact-check.
Is the Thriller album. I think that is the all-time most sold copies is the Thriller album. Because I remember the Beatles used to be... The Beatles used to always be most sold albums. And then when the Thriller album came out, it was like the top, I'm pretty sure. Am I wrong?
Yeah. Well, no, you're not like wrong. It's #2 is Michael Jackson
2?
Thriller.
What's #1?
#1 is their greatest hits 1971 to 1975, The Eagles. Which, by the way, the Eagles also have the 3rd one, which is Hotel California. So.
Okay, well, that's freaking crazy.
How do the Eagles have 1 and 3? See, I feel like...
The Eagles are a great band, though.
But so. I feel like at the same time, I haven't heard the Eagles enough in my life. Ooh. Or, like, heard of the Eagles. And, like, I haven't heard enough people talk about the Eagles in my life to justify them having 1 and 3.
Yeah, no.
Of the most top-selling albums of all time.
Well, they're also kind of, like... They're kind of niche-y, in a way. Because, like, their music is, like... It's, like... I don't consider myself, like, a country fan, necessarily. But, like, the Eagles are, like, country rock. They're really, they're not, like, full, like, you know, really, really deep South kind of, like, country music, but they're light country rock. I don't know, do you ever hear those types of bands where it's, like, if you categorize them as a genre, you're kind of like, I don't really know what to categorize them as, they're just their own type of sound. Mm. They're that type of band, so, like, they have just, like, that niche where they're, like, rock, but they're also, like, country. And, like, their music is good. Yeah, you should definitely check out that great Eagles Greatest Hits album. That's a good album. It's like a white logo.
Yeah, I'm checking here. I'm checking, like, Wikipedia says that it is Michael Jackson. It says that Back in Black is the second. It doesn't mention Eagles until, like, 5 or 6 here.
I wonder how outdated that may be, though.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like...
The sound is more accurate in my head, though.
The Michael Thriller, yeah.
Thriller and then Back in Black.
Yeah.
Like, those two, just that does sound like top 2 in my head.
Wow. That's crazy to me to think the Eagles are #1. Well, you know, the thing about that is, though, it's, like, constantly always changing, too.
Yeah.
I mean, like, unless someone beats that. But, you know, the thing is, too, is, like, is it even a fair assessment on that anymore? Because, like, people don't buy records anymore. I mean, like, Thriller, the Eagles and the Thriller album, those came out in the 70s.
Yeah, I wonder if it's also counting, like, Apple purchases.
Oh, yeah. Because, like, you know, it's really hard to kind of, like, figure, like, most all-time listened to album. Because that's also different than the most all-time sold. Because, like, just because they have bought it doesn't mean, like, there's people that aren't buying it that are still listening to it, you know?
Right.
I don't think that's as big of a deal as it once was, like, when people were actually buying vinyl, you know?
So our second story for you here is the Amazon boss Jeff Bezos tackled over use of unlicensed music on Twitch. He has, let me pull up, 2,500 claims being filed for the use of unlicensed music in the background of gaming streams and recording live streams.
Yeah, I don't like Jeff. Not just because, like, he's, like, the wealthiest man in the world, but he's also just... There's no need to be that wealthy, number one.
At some point, that you're just getting money for the sake of having money. Like, you're never even going to see that money in your life.
You're never... I mean, there's no way that...
There's, like, nothing that you could use that money for.
It could literally take 100 lifetimes to spend that money.
Yeah.
And, like, there could be... I don't know. Like, the other thing... Yeah, and, like, them buying Twitch is, like, just another way to make more money.
I'm starting to get creeped out by, like, all of these, like, companies buying all these other companies. Like, Disney's starting to scare me. Yeah. I'm worried that, like, all of media is just going to be under Disney's, like, bullshit. It's like Apple with their products.
Yeah.
How, like, you, like, once you're in the Apple game, you kind of get stuck there. It takes a lot to get out of, like...
Yeah, it's really hard.
Apple
I agree.
Game. And when you're in there, you have to constantly be buying all these things. You're like, I don't want to have to buy these adapters.
But you have to.
But I have to, because if I don't buy this dongle adapter, how am I going to be able to use the aux in my car?
Yeah. And see, I think Apple has got a really, really good thing for their brand going, but a bad thing for the consumers because they know that their consumers are loyal to them and that they won't leave. So basically, the thing is with Apple is that they will continue to do basically whatever they want, and they know that their customers will buy it. Like, I remember when the dongle first came out and they eliminated the sound jack, everyone was like on the train, I'm not buying Apple, I'm not buying the new iPhone, it sucks. Guess who bought it? All the people that said they weren't going to buy it bought it, you know? And I would be one of those people.
Yep, me too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think, like, we are so reliant on devices these days that it's scary.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm kind of, like, bouncing back and forth on that because I am of the mindset that, like, you know, we need to innovate, we need to evolve, we need to, like, become one with technology more. But, like, also that is terrifying.
Yeah. Well, and, like, the thing is, like, our technology that we have today, like, in this current setting of August 2020 is so good. Like...
Feels pretty good, yeah.
Like, in the next 10 years, I mean, even 5 years ago, I think technology was great.
Yeah.
Like, I just can't imagine, like, what more... Like, what are things going to get better? Like, the capabilities behind technology are so good right now. So, like, in a 10 years time, even, like, in our lifespan, on the tail end of our lives, like, what is technology going to look like? Because technology is so good right now. Internet is great. Phones are great. Computers are great. Like, the devices that we have are just insanely good. I mean, our phones are smarter than us. I mean, in certain instances.
In a way, yeah. Kind of like a dummy AI where they are smarter, but they also, like... are also reliant on us in a way.
That's fair.
To, like, use it.
The scary point becomes when we don't. When it starts to, like, be able to read exactly what our intentions are, which is scary. Meaning, like, they pick up your patterns and they say, okay, you know, at 7 o'clock every single morning, you know, Justin typically gets up at, 7, so I'm just going to automatically program his phone to wake him up at 7, and then just like, oh, at 9 o'clock Justin leaves his house, so I'm going to automatically plug in his phone to get his, music going.
I am so excited for that because I love the idea of AI, dude.
Dude,
do you ever play, like, Halo? Or, like, from, like, Jarvis from, like, Marvel?
Okay.
Like, I love the idea of having, like, an AI, like...
But it's the dependency issue that scares me. Because it's, like, the dependency of, like, become so reliant on it. I mean, think about it nowadays. Like, people don't even know how to travel without using a phone. People never learned how to read maps. Like, I don't know, maybe your parents and my parents are, like, the similar age, but, like, when we used to travel in the early, like, 2000s before, like, even, like, GPSs were a thing. Like the TomToms and the things that you plug into your cigarette lighter. We would have a map. We'd have an atlas, and we'd say, okay, we're planning a trip to go to Kentucky. This is the route that we need to take.
Yeah, I remember, like, looking up into the front seat as a kid and seeing, like, my dad holding, like, the map or whatever. My mom holding the map.
And we don't do that anymore.
Well, I know kind of how to use it because I was in Boy Scouts. So, why is that so funny?
I was in Boy Scouts too.
What rank did you get up to?
Tenderfoot.
Tenderfoot?
That's the first rank.
Come on, man.
What did you get up to?
Life Scout, which is the one right before Eagle.
Damn, you're looking at a tenderfoot. Tenderfoot is what you get when you first cross into Boy Scouts. Well,
okay, if you want to put some real respect on your name, you got to be a scout, and then you have to do a couple things to be tenderfoot.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah, tenderfoot's pretty much right there.
Yeah, I think you just have to cross and maybe do a couple things. And anyway, This is way off music, but good topics.
So our next one is Metallica is the stage for first show of 2020, and the reason I put this in there is because, well, it's interesting that bands are getting back to live performances, but they're doing it in a medium that we discussed on our first episode, which is they're doing drive-ins. This is in California. It's going to be in Northern California, which the article that we were doing the other day was how Southern California was getting into the drive-ins.
Right.
So the rock band Metallica, I said that so weird, the rock band Metallica, as if no one fucking knows who they are, is going to be, we're partnering with Encore Drive-In Nights series, and will screen a full set at drive-ins and outdoor theaters in the U.S. and Canada on August 29th.
That's my birthday.
Oh, wow.
You know what's interesting? It's California is one of the worst states for COVID right now.
It's pretty bad, yeah.
I mean, I get it that they're trying, is it even smart? I think it's a great idea, but the problem is it's always going to be the issue of policing people to stay in their car. Are they actually going to do that?
Well, it says, as with other recent drive-in shows, staff will wear appropriate PPE, and cars will be stationed 6 feet apart.
Imagine if COVID-19 happened in the 70s or the 80s. We'd be so much more fucked.
Well, I don't know, because do you ever see those old pictures from the 20s, the last time we had
the swine flu?
Yeah, the swine flu or whatever, and you see signs of guys in there saying don't wear a mask, go to jail or something. They took it seriously.
So really enforced it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the communication factor. You know what I mean? Because obviously you'd be getting your information from the daily paper. I was gonna say the Daily Prophet.
I thought you were gonna say the Daily Bugle.
Isn't the Daily Prophet from Harry Potter?
Yeah, and the Daily Bugle is from Spider-Man.
Oh.
J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh no, I was thinking of the Daily Prophet. Yeah, because I just feel because we're so able to find information at the click of a button, and so in such a quick manner. So I don't know. But yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Well, going back to our Metallica article, according to the release, a new concert will be shot near the band's home of Northern California for August 29th. The show will also feature footage from their decades-long career. 3 Days Grace will open the concert.
Ooh,
Do you like 3 Days Grace?
I would get on that.
I really like 3 Days Grace.
Yeah,
it says tickets for which go on sale to fans on August 12th. That's when you can start buying your tickets. And to the general public on August 14th. What is that supposed to mean? Is it probably the bands can promote?
Maybe pre-sale?
I don't know. Well, it says to fans. So is that supposed to mean
It's probably the people that have lots of money to spend on.
Yeah, maybe. One ticket. Okay, so one ticket gets a carload of 6 into the show and will include 4 downloads of Metallica's S&M 2. Interesting.
Wow.
So you can do a carload of 6, but only 4 will get the download. Anyway, an album and concert film featuring Metallica and the San Francisco Symphony out August 28th. So their album they're playing with the San Francisco Symphony.
That was probably interesting.
I don't know, the only other time that I've seen a metal symphony mix was that Bring Me the Horizon concert.
Yeah.
I was talking to you about where they were at the Royal Albert Hall. So I would be interested to see how Metallica matches up with a symphony. I'm just imagining now cello players
yeah, right.
having to move their bows back and forth Oh, have you ever seen 2 cellos? You know 2 cellos?
Like 2 cellos, or is that a group name?
It's a group. 2 cellos,
of course
and they do.
I've seen 2 cellos.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
No. Yeah. So what? They dueling battles or something?
No, I don't know. I'm just thinking about that now. I'm like comparing like the thought of like the symphony, the San Francisco Symphony, to like just a bunch of like them playing like the guys from Two Cellos. You ever seen the Thunderstruck video?
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Like bows. I saw them live, Two Cellos.
For real?
Yeah, they.
Was it fun?
It was very fun. So I'll explain. So I had a friend who hit me up one day, and he was just like, "Are you doing anything tonight?" And I was like, "No." And he's like, "Do you want to go see Two Cellos with me?" And I was like, "Sure." And so he gave me an extra ticket. They were playing at the Wharton Center.
Oh, okay.
At MSU, yeah. And it was like the two of them, and it was so funny because like the people who showed up looked like people who would go to see an orchestra concert.
Right. Wow, it seems like you could at least enjoy it.
So yeah, like those of you who may not know, like Two Cellos are like, what would you call them? Like a YouTube group? I mean, they're like popular because of YouTube, and they're like these two cello players, but they do like covers of like rock songs. Like their popular one is they do a Thunderstruck cover. That's a funny video.
It's kind of like Trans-Siberian Orchestra in a way.
Yeah, because it's like classical instruments
but
being
like
used as the medium for like more modern playing and stuff. And they had a drummer too
dope.
At the concert.
That's so weird to think of a cello with a drummer.
Dude, it was working out. They did Smells Like Teen Spirit cover.
That's funny.
And the drummer had like a double bass pedal and everything. Like,
damn, dude, I hope those things return soon. Like normal, like seating concerts like that.
Only if it's safe, though.
No, yeah, I get it. Yeah, when it's safe. Yeah. I'm just saying. I hope like that becomes a thing again. Like, I know this is scary to think about, but imagine like if this is the way that it will be for the rest of our lives. That would really suck.
I've seen like
conspiracies about that.
Not conspiracies, but people like on social media saying how they think that because of the way Americans are treating it, that in the U.S. we'll never really get rid of COVID-19. It'll become like another flu thing that you get a shot for each year.
Yeah.
I was like, fuck, dude, probably.
Yeah, honestly.
Like, are we really going to have to start getting like COVID shots every year, like with our flu shots?
Well, and then like I was thinking about it, is it going to become like a thing where you're going to have like a COVID card? Yup, here's my COVID card. I got my shot this year.
Oh,
you know, to prove that, because I was thinking about this too. It's like, what if like, you know how like you get into events and stuff and they check your ID and they check your, your belongings and stuff. I just like don't want it to be like, oh yeah, here's my ID, I'm 21 to get in this bar. Here's my COVID card. Here's my bag that I don't have any, shanks or whatever.
Something that here's my COVID card, dude. I don't have any shanks, but here's the bag. Just check it. Well, one thing is we all know that like in Asia, it's very normal for them to wear masks.
Right, when they're sick.
Yeah, normally, and so like I'm starting to wonder if maybe that'll become like a norm over here too.
Well, it's not really uncommon if you're like in a shopping center and you see somebody who's wearing a mask.
Really? I feel like I never saw people.
Well, maybe it's because I just worked in a grocery store, so like I saw that kind of stuff more. But like
maybe.
And usually the people who are wearing it were Asian, like 90% of the time. But like, yeah, I mean, it's just too bad that like people don't respect the whole process a little bit more. But you gotta
process of wearing a mask.
Yeah, because I just think there's just so many people that just deny it, and they think that it's not a real issue. They just think it's man-made, Well, and like the thing is too, right now in this current stage, we have no idea what the long term. And I think we've kind of talked about this before, where it's like okay, I get it. Who's to say that 10 years down the road I don't have another issue or another flare up, because like it could be like, I don't know, this is like usually for older generation people, but people who had chicken pox and they get shingles later on in their life.
Yeah.
Like we just don't know if is there going to be like a COVID, 2.0, I just don't know.
An after effect or something. Yeah.
Right.
Well, there is like, apparently it does cause like some brain. Have you heard about that?
Yeah.
How it causes like what would you call it? Like just brain damage.
Yeah,
I don't know. It does like start to like permanently affect your brain and can like mentally cripple you in some way.
Yeah.
And when they're saying like you get like a loss of taste or smell if you have it.
Did
you hear about that? That part, that part freaks me out. If you ever get a sudden loss of taste or smell, or you suddenly become confused, is another thing.
Yeah, or you can't hear.
feel like that would be like a really bad case of it.
I would rather.
I haven't heard anything about not being able to hear.
I was just kind of joking, but if I okay, this is the last talking point because I just kind of like, spotted my mind. If you could eliminate a sense and you had to live with only 4 senses,
I've thought about this.
What would it be? Definitely smell. Definitely smell.
The thing is, I know that like each sense, although it's not used as much or is not like as necessary throughout your life, I know that like each one of them will end up could help you in a very like serious way. Like each one of them can help you in dangerous situations, so it's hard to like think. Because if you say like, oh, I don't really want sense of touch because it's not really going to bother me, like, well, you never know. What if one day you're like accidentally burning your hand or something and you just don't know?
But then you smell your burning flesh.
You can't smell. But yeah, if you can't smell, like you might not be able to smell like if you have like a gas leak or that kind of stuff.
I don't know. I think like
fire, you couldn't be able to smell fire or smoke. Maybe you'd be able to feel it because smoke does have like a certain like.
Yeah. I don't know, but like I'm just thinking about like from a musical perspective. Like True. I'm thinking about like my smell doesn't really impact my. I mean, right. Okay, like taste. I would have to have taste because would I be eating nothing? I would feel like I'm eating. I was like, oh yeah, I'm hungry, but I can't.
Yeah, you wouldn't really get anything out of it. All right. It looks like we're gonna wrap up here. So thank you for joining us on the MuseTube Podcast. I've been Erik.
I'm Justin.
And we'll see you in the next one. Peace.